Starmie EX is still one of my favorite cards, but has had one of the most tragic fates in Pokemon TCG Pocket. Since day one, Starmie EX has had one of the best damage for energy ratio attacks in the entire game as a stage 1 Pokemon, dealing 90 damage for only 2 energy. And to this day, that is rivaled only by the likes of Ninetales, Leafeon and Pikachu EX. Although now with Rare Candy, there's quite a few stage 2s that can get online as fast and can hit for as much or more with a lot more HP as well. It wasn't a bad card at launch at all, but even back then, both Pikachu EX and Mewtwo EX decks were absolutely everywhere, and you had to be pretty brave to bring Starmie to PvP against them. Then Mythical Island came out, and with it came Draidigon. This guy was the beginning of the downfall for both Starmie EX and Pikachu EX. And then the final nail in the coffin was the release of Cyrus, meaning if even as much as a wet noodle hits Starmie EX, it is doomed to be knocked out for an easy 2 points to your opponent. For the most part, EX Pokemon with 130 HP or less are just now too frail to be meta. Starmie EX's core strength of being able to apply a ton of pressure right at the start of the game, especially if you go second, is still a possibility. But the cost is just too great. Even if you get lucky enough to draw a giant cape and have your Staryu survive the likes of Skarmory, Carnivine, or now Garchomp EX's linear attack or Incineroar's Firefang with Rare Candy, your Starmie is still very much threatened by the likes of Charizard, Incineroar, Gyarados, Rampardos, Giratina, and Oricorio and Magnezone, which are super effective against it. And even if you give it a giant cape to try to survive some of those, there's still cards like Darkrai, Greninja, Rocky Helmet and Guzma to counter it as well. But I didn't let that stop me. In today's deck, I bring back Starmie EX to one of the most hostile metas ever against it. By combining it with a ton of cheap damage in the form of Greninja, Pyukumuku and Rocky Helmet, we try to ensure that even Starmie can act as a finisher to close out a game after the opponent is forced to go through 2 of your other non-EX Pokemon. Pyukumuku is one of the unsung heroes of this expansion. This little guy is arguably a better Draidigon that always deals 50 retaliation damage, 70 with Rocky Helmet. Well, as long as it doesn't get knocked out by Darkrai's ability or from some special condition like Burn, while dealing 40 damage for 1 energy to the Fire deck starters that are everywhere in this meta. We played over 4 hours in ranked Ultra Ball 3, and surprisingly, we were able to hold our ground there. Although sadly, most of the matches we won, we didn't even get to play Starmie, as Pyukumuku and Greninja were just too strong by themselves. I've added some more final thoughts about this deck at the end of this video, so stick around if you want to hear them. I also take deck requests. Is there any card you want to see played in ranked? Let me know in the comments, and I'll build a deck around it. With that said, check this deck out in action for yourself, and enjoy the games! Okay, going second, double Pyukumuku, Rocky Helmet. Lightning with Froakie. That's kinda new. Maybe Oricorio instead of Snorlax. With Giratina. Maybe Oricorio instead of Giratina. I don't love playing Starmie already. Given it can get pinged by Greninja and then Cyrus, I'm gonna hold on to it for a little bit. But yeah, without like Research, Pokeball, Froakie. Okay, we at least got a Froakie, but we still need too many pieces. Research and a Rare Candy specifically. Rare Candy would be good. Not as much anymore, but still. No Rare Candy or Research yet. He already has the Greninja, so I think that's pretty much game. Kinda suggests he has Berry. So no Berry yet. Kinda need to go for Starmie, even though it doesn't do much. Okay, secondary Choreo. Could have used Giant Cape on the Greninja to prevent a ping and Cyrus. Yeah, but there's very little I could have done to prevent this. The Oricoreos can't attack yet. Now I do get the Cyrus at least. Let's go for this. Can't attack this turn, you can only ping Starmie for 20. So we Cyrus the Greninja and finish it off. We try to build a second Greninja, hopefully. But we would need like in the research. We haven't got any research, but he hasn't either. Next turn you can attack Starmie. Okay, Froakie, so there's still a little bit of hope. It taxes for 70. We go down to 40. And then we need a rare candy. And to dodge a Cyrus. Rare candy? Amazing, amazing. And we water Shuriken and we finish off this Oricorio. That's incredibly beautiful. GG! Man, we're always going first. This is ridiculous. Let's go with the Rocky Helmet, prevent him from attacking us. Trying to buy a couple of turns just to find that rare candy and that research. So we are just gonna attack with this, deal 30 damage now. Next turn we can consider retreating to Pyukumuku. So even if he uses Fire Fang, we survive with 10 HP. Don't mind that too much because I have Guzma. Let's see if it even makes a difference. So it takes 50, goes down to 60. Lily is at 120. Because we went first and started with Froakie, we are a lot behind in terms of energy. So if I attack, goes down to 80 and then would take 50, goes down to 30. So I will kind of have to do something like this. Attack for 40. If it doesn't have a second Lily, we can finish it off with Staryu and Guzma. It's not very elegant, but it's kind of the best we can do right now. And hope it doesn't have the second Incineroar and Rare Candy. Is this Fire Fang? That's very weird. Come on, and we heal it, which is fantastic. Let's go with this. Could be tempted to play Giant Cape, but I don't want to get countered by a Guzma and lose 3 tools. Come on, Rare Candy. There it is, but now I lost the Greninjas. So we can actually punish them here. Let's go with Starmie. That Incineroar cannot knock out the Starmie yet. So we take this out first. Now he needs to heal for what? 70? Which means Lily is not enough. He needs like Lily and Potion. And I don't think he runs Potion, so that should be game. And that's, you know, he doesn't have enough energy either. That's game, very nice. Even though we didn't get the Greninja. going second against fighting is likely the Lycanroc or the Garchomp version. If it's Lycanroc, we should be kind of fine here, especially if we get... so it's neither. Yeah, against Garchomp's linear attack, we would be kind of screwed. We would need the cape to survive that. So unfortunately, we don't really have a lot of the stuff we needed. Dump this hand and that'll kind of prevent him from drawing a lot of cards. So this will have to do. But next turn we can, fortunately, like Starmie, retreat into Pyukumuku and ping with Greninja to get rid of the Chatot. But the problem is if he has X speed here. So it takes 50. I send Pyukumuku in. He attacks Pyukumuku, he loses the Rampardos right away. I think I can even kind of ping the Chatot. Let's leave it at that. With giant capes, now it survives the Pyukumuku, but it survives at 20 HP, which is pretty decent for us. Now it prepares the Aerodactyl EX. Has 8 cards left. I didn't play Mimic. But yeah, so we would kind of need more stuff. So we actually win here. Because of Guzma, we can knock this down with the giant, take the giant cape off and knock it out. We can ping the Chatot and then we can attack a fossil. That's game. Triple kill in one turn. That was kind of beautiful. Pyukumuku and Greninja alone carrying this. So that was pretty rough though. Somehow we managed to hold our ground in Ultra Ball 3. We played a lot of matches, but we managed to hold our ground. But yeah, if anything, like, what I felt from this deck is that Starmie could kind of be replaced by other things. Now, I think most of the matches, almost all of them, that I won, it was more because of Pyukumuku Greninja. They were actually winning games just by themselves. And by the time I could attack with Starmie or something, I didn't really need Starmie specifically. Like, a lot of the times Greninja was enough to finish the game. But on the other hand, like, there aren't that many finishers that are water type that could replace Starmie, because they are usually very mana hungry. Something like Palkia specifically, like 1 ink 4 energy, like sure, that is a finisher, but you can't really find space to assign 4 energy to a Palkia here, unless you kind of specifically ignore attacking with Greninja. So maybe something like Snorlax with Berry would do a better job than Starmie. But Snorlax is kind of also redundant with Pyukumuku, like both want to be frontliner walls to some extent. So all in all, like, I think the main improvement I would consider here would be replacing one of the Starmies with a Pokemon communication, so that I could kind of not only more consistently get the Greninjas especially, but also I could potentially use the communication to get Starmie as well. But I think all in all, this deck kind of surprised me in how we were able to hold our ground in Ultra Ball 3. We almost deranked at some point, but then we managed some win streaks as well here and there. I think specifically our matchup against Fire obviously was one of the best, because we were able to apply so much pressure to the Littens and the Charmanders, especially the Littens, because Incineroar like isn't able to wipe out any of the 60 HP Pokemon. And against Pyukumuku specifically, like Pyukumuku could almost single-handedly put Incineroar at like range of being knocked out by almost anything else. So I think we only really lost the Incineroar matchups when they had like double Lily, and then yeah, that's a lot of HP. Like, but ultimately, I think, you know, I was happy that I was able to play Starmie again. I think my opponents probably, this was the only time they ever saw Starmie in ranked this season, but I hope that Starmie was able to kind of pleasantly surprise them, especially when it kind of cornered them. But yeah, that was the match. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like. I specialize specifically on like off-meta decks played in ranked. I love playing Starmie, for example, so I wanted to see how it was nowadays, like could it hold its ground. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.